And welcome back to Wake Up America. I'm Tom Basili alongside Allison Maloney, and we're staying focused on the chaotic situation in Afghanistan and also breaking down the performance yesterday of President Biden as he faces this crisis.
And joining us now to talk all about this is Texas Congressman and member of the Veterans Affairs Committee, Chip Roy. Welcome back to Wake Up America, sir.
Good morning. Happy to be with you, although I wish it was under different circumstances.
Yeah, agree. So, sir, 13 U.S. service members were killed when 2 suicide bombers detonated explosives. Does President Biden have blood on his hands right now?
Well, first of all, let's just make sure that the families of those 13 service members know that we're praying for them. We love them. Their loved ones lost their lives in service of their fellow man, trying to help other people. And you know, that's something that we should all be celebrating, and we should be standing with the men and women in uniform who have been fighting for the last 2 decades. But to see the President of the United States conducting this kind of an operation in which he is abandoning our men and women in uniform, putting them in danger, and then standing in front of a microphone yesterday and giving us platitudes about hunting down the enemy when he abandoned our men and women in uniform, vacated Bagram, left that base wide open. You damn well believe that Congress needs to take action against him, against Secretary Blinken, and we need the brass of the Pentagon to be talking about what their hands in all of this are as well.
President Biden, yesterday he spoke to Americans. A lot of people feel that he's weak. A lot of people feel that he should not be, leading the country based on what has happened. As you talked about, so 13 families, they got a knock on the door yesterday. Their loved ones are no longer here, and they were there just helping people. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that hurts. I didn't wear the uniform. I'm one of those, like most Americans, who benefited from the sacrifice of all of those who've been over there fighting for us. And I just want every veteran to know what they've done the last 20 years in keeping us safe. We stand with you. The legacy of all of those men and women in uniform is going to be strong going forward. There is a generation of us who are ready to take the mantle and take this country forward and lead with pride and lead with strength and stand up and send a signal to the world that we're going to defend America's interests. Right now, Speaker Pelosi, she should be calling Congress back to convene. We should vote on a resolution condemning the president's actions, demanding that the President of the United States tell us exactly what his counterterrorism strategy is going to be now that he abandoned Bagram Air Force Base, demand that he go out, hunt down, and kill those involved with this, but more importantly, that lay waste to anybody involved with it, and that we need to make sure that we are going to do everything else from now on our terms, and that we're going to stand up strongly and defend those that we're putting in harm's way. And we need to have a vote now. And I think Congress ought to be convening today. We should be demanding that. Secretary Blinken, he should resign or we should impeach him. What he has been doing is completely incompetent, and he's completely failed to carry out his duties as Secretary of State. We need to have hearings to talk through what DOD told the president and what caused the president to take these ridiculous actions that are making this country weaker and, frankly, endangering our men and women in uniform, as we saw happen yesterday.
Sir, do you feel, I think as a lot of Americans feel, that the administration is just trying to wait this out? They want to turn the page here so that they can focus on this $5 trillion spending plan. They really are very myopic when it comes to this domestic agenda, the expansion of welfare, and the other spending, the tax hikes. And they have abandoned foreign policy basically altogether and just want to move on. Do you think that's why we've seen such callous behavior when it comes to this administration with respect to Afghanistan?
I think this administration is run by and kowtows to a bunch of academic leftists like the Squad and like a bunch of leftists in the White House who think that this is some sort of seminar in a university. These are real lives. This is the national security of the United States. And I think you don't need any more evidence than what we saw last week than that Nancy Pelosi called us back into town while we're dealing with a situation as chaotic and dangerous as what we saw unfold in Kabul yesterday. And what did we do? We voted on a $3.5 trillion boondoggle for radical leftist policies like trying to take our carbon footprint down to 80% carbon free by 2030, which would decimate our economy and hurt the poor. We had a vote on something like amnesty. We had a vote $3.5 trillion when we're $30 trillion in debt. Come on. This is a bunch of radical leftist socialist nonsense. And we don't need this kind of thing. And this is why you don't give the keys to the guard to people like this. To put them in the White House, much less to watch your house for the weekend.
Well, we really thank you for coming on the show today. Texas Congressman Chip Roy, we appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.